to the aforementioned Joe Lieberman, former senator of the beautiful state of Connecticut, of course, the vice presidential candidate with Al Gore back in that was a tad controversial election, I guess. Good to see you, sir.
It was for us. Yeah.
Let me get your take on what's going on with what the Israelis detailed yesterday. Prime Minister Netanyahu taking to the airwaves to say that the Iranians cheated and lied. They continue to cheat and lie. They got a lot of data. The IAEA, and some of these other groups have come out and said, well, wait a minute, those numbers don't jibe. We don't see them cheating since 2009. So which is it?
Yeah. Well, to me, it looked like a very significant intelligence coup by the Israeli intelligence community, and I was struck that our new Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said that he had seen some of the intelligence when he was in Israel, and he thought it was real. President Trump also issued, or the White House issued, a statement saying that some of the evidence was compelling. So our intelligence community has had it for a while now, and I think the statements by the President and Secretary of State probably reflect the initial reactions of what the Israelis disclosed. I mean, to me, bottom line, although some of this is dated, it shows that during a period when Iran was a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, they were building nuclear weapons, which you're not supposed to do. So
he seemed to imply they're still doing it.
Well, he certainly implied that we don't have...
And that's where we drew a distinction.
Right. We don't have confidence that they're not cheating. In fact, part of what I think Prime Minister Netanyahu said yesterday was that all this material found in the warehouse in Iran and grabbed by Israeli intelligence showed that this was a program waiting to start again. I mean, to me, the big conclusion here is that the inspections agreed to by the Iranians under the Iran nuclear agreement of 2015 were lame, were inadequate, were weak. And that whatever the president does as we come to this deadline, and I hope really he pulls out of this agreement because it's a bad agreement. It was
so
a
you
mistake.
Would pull out, you wouldn't, I think when Macron was here last week and Angela Merkel, they were saying, fix, don't nix. In other words, don't dump the whole thing, fix it.
Right. So I think the president has some options here. You've been allowing for a decision to leave the agreement because it was a mistake, bad for the U.S., bad for our allies in the region, announced that he's withdrawing, says that he won't waive the economic sanctions again, but he can stop the implementation of those sanctions, that economic pressure on Iran, for a couple of months and give the Europeans and the Iranians a chance to respond and to change the underlying agreement. Again, first, fuller inspections. The Iranians can't say you can look here, but you can't look there. If we're going to have an agreement,
you can come in a week.
Yeah, come in a week, right? Give us time. It was actually even more than that.
Yeah. Is that
okay,
right?
You can come there, but give us enough time to clean it up and before you come. The other thing is that, and this was the big substantive mistake of that agreement. Basically, they agreed to pause their nuclear weapons program, not to stop it. The agreement gives them the right to go back to it in about 10 years. And these documents that the Israelis revealed, assuming they're credible and accurate, show that the Iranians put in an archive all that they need to start it up again like that, either in 10 years or tomorrow if they want to.
The president showed, a great deal of pragmatism, flexibility, if you will, Senator, on this trade issue. He's been talking tough on trade, but he was flexible enough to say, all right, for some of our allies and everyone else, I can hold off on implementing these tariffs that were to go into effect today for another 30 days. Is it a leap for me to interpret from that he could show similar flexibility on dealing with the Iranians, on dealing with the North Koreans? He must have, in his own mind, the kind of list of demands that we have, North Koreans, not the least of which is getting rid of their nuclear capability. But beyond that, what did you read into the trade move?
Well, I think he did the right thing there. And because we're dealing with allies, we're dealing primarily with the Europeans and other countries that are allies. The Europeans are very important economic partners of ours. They do a lot of business with us. They have big investments and create a lot of
He
jobs.
says they're effectively hosing us, you know.
Well, you know what? They may be taking advantage of us in terms of trade, but I don't think he wants to get into a trade war. I think he also wants with Europe, and I think he also wants to have the European leaders stand with him in these other negotiations, which are different because unlike the Europeans, he's dealing with enemies, adversaries of the U.S., Iran and North Korea. So, yeah, he might compromise a bit in what he asks of Iran and North Korea. But I think the president has shown so far that he's got thresholds, bottom lines here that he won't go over. It's a very different situation, but the fact that 23 years after Congress passed the Jerusalem Embassy Relocation Act, and 23 years in which every president, both parties, suspended the implementation of that because they were worried about the reaction from others. President Trump said, this is the law, this is what we ought to do, and he did it, and the reaction the sky has not fallen, shall I say. So I think he showed in that a willingness to do what others say is risky to do because he thought it was consistent with our principles. When he's dealing with North Korea and Iran, he's dealing not only with our principles, but with our security. So I think there's a line below which he won't go.
By the way, you mentioned North Korea real quickly. The president seems to want it under the demilitarized zone, that meeting, that it would certainly make good optics. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
That was my interpretation. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I think the place is a good place to go because it evokes the hope of a unified Korea. He can't go to North Korea. They could go to a European capital, right. But
I suggested the Poconos or the Catskills.
Yeah, Catskills would have been good,
no.
and you know there were a lot of comedians still looking for an audience up in the Catskills.
Oh,
and,
all right, okay. Very good, very good. Joe Lieberman, always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Mine, thank you.
Thank you, sir.